Hi my lovelies, I hope you're all well. I'm Jen from Crafty Crafty and I'm teaming up with Tonic Studios to bring you some of their new SVGs to show you how you bring them into Design Space, how you get them cut ready and how you put them together. So today we're doing How Does Your Garden Grow, and it's this beautiful watering can and jug. Now you don't get the flowers in this SVG, but the flowers can be purchased separately and they will be in another video. So when we open up the file, we'll see the put together document. And this obviously shows you what it looks like, all of the different elements. It shows you all of the individual pieces when they're cut out. And it also gives you instructions as well. Now you can see we've got 3 folders here. We've got the folder for the can, we've got a folder for decorative elements, and these decorative elements are both for the can and the jug. And then we've got the jug folder. So we're going to open up the can folder first. And you'll see we've got 2 folders in here. We've got perforated lines and score lines. So the score lines are a solid line and they come in as a cut, so you must change them to a score. The perforated lines are exactly that, and you can actually keep them as a cut, and I prefer to do this because I find I get a much cleaner fold. So my personal preference is the perforated lines, but if you prefer to score and use either a scoring stylus or a scoring wheel, you can. Just make sure that you change those solid lines from a cut to a score. I'm going to open up the perf folder, and all I'm going to do is hold down my shift key and my arrow so that I can copy these. I then open up my pictures and I paste them in there. 2 reasons for that. First of all, Design Space cannot open up folders, so you need to actually take out these individual elements out of the folder. And secondly, I put them in my pictures so that they're easy for me to find. So next we've got decorative elements, so I'm going to open that folder up. And again, I'm just going to hold down my shift key and my arrow and then copy and paste those into my pictures, just like so. And then finally, I've got the jug folder, so I'm going to open that up. And again, you'll see a perforated line folder and a score line folder. I'm going to do the perforated lines. And I'm just going to hold down my shift key, select them all, and copy and then paste them to my pictures. So I'm in my canvas. I'm going to go to upload, upload image, browse, and I can bring in each of those elements one at a time. Because they are an SVG, it's going to save it as a cut. You'll see we've got the image name here, and it's always worth adding a tag so that you can easily find them. And then we're just going to save that. And I'm going to continue bringing each of these files in. If we hover over them, you'll actually see the names. So this is our watering jug, this is our watering jug, this is our watering jug, and then these 4 are our watering can, and then we've got our 2 element pieces. And I'm just going to select them all and then insert them. So before we do anything, we want to actually check the sizes. So if we zoom in, we can see that it says correct if this line measures 8 inches, which it does. And you want to go through and check all of them. If you then select each of your elements, you'll see in your layers panel that you can select just that text and you can then delete that. Make sure that you check your sizes first, but once you have, you can then come through and just delete those lines of text. So just to take you through what each of the elements are, this is the actual structure of our watering can, and then this is the top bit of our watering can, which is this area here. These panels then sit on top of those ones. We've then got the base, the spout, that's also part of the spout, and that's part of the handle. And then we've got some elements here. So with these ones, I want to separate them. So I'm going to ungroup them first of all. And all I'm going to do is just select those panels there. And I'm going to change the colour on them to white because they actually go on top of here, but under here. So as you can see there, we layer them. And I actually want them to be a different colour to these because these elements here go on the handle, the spout, and the little bit that sits inside of the spout. So I want those to be a separate colour. Now, because we've ungrouped these are fantastic the way that Tonic do this. Rather than having to ungroup things and then use our contour to change everything, everything is grouped individually in sections. So for example, this with the score lines is on its own. So I could easily just make this a different colour. But as it is, I want them all the same. And I'm just going to make them a slightly different colour to those elements. If we look at the jug, we can see we've got our structure pieces here. This is our base and handles. And then these are the pieces that sit under those panels. And then we've got a little bit of the spout area as well. I am going to keep those all the same colour, so I don't need to change them. So we've got two lots of elements here. These elements are for the watering can, and these ones are for the jug. And again, if I want to change the colours of those individually, all I need to do is ungroup them, and then I can simply change them and make them the colours I want so that they then go on separate mats. So I'm actually going to have these as a blue, and then all the others I'm going to have as a white, but I want them as a white glitter. These ones I'm going to keep them all the same colour, but again, if I wanted to separate them, I just ungroup them. Now, when you bring them in and you check the sizes, those are the minimum sizes, but you can in fact make them bigger. So what I do is separate my watering can and my jug. I select all my watering can pieces, align and center them. And then if I want to make them bigger, I can. And because I've centered and aligned them, they'll all change to the appropriate size together. So I can make them bigger, but for now we're going to cut them the actual size. And then we would just do the same for the jug. The only other thing we want to do is make sure that our perforated cut lines or our solid score lines are actually attached to their base pieces. So we're just going to select those layers and attach them. The same with these ones, attach. We've got score lines on this one, so we're going to attach. This one here, we're going to attach those lines. The same with this one and with all of these. And as with all the Tonic SVGs, these are set to A4 size. So if you cut them the size that they come in as, the size that they're meant to be, they will all fit in their sections on A4. I don't want to cut them all at once, so all I'm going to do is just group all of the watering jug together and then use my layers panel to hide them all. So I can go to make it and cut out all my watering can pieces. Then I can come back. I can then group all these together, hide them, and then bring back my jug pieces by unclicking the eye. If we go to make it, we can check all of our layers and make sure we're happy with them. And then we can go and choose our cut settings. If you're using an Explore machine, make sure that your dial is set to custom so that you can get the Browse All Materials screen up and you can then choose your cuts. I'm using all Tonic Studios card today, and for me, they all cut on the craft board setting, but that's because my machine does like to cut heavy. So really, if it's classic card, you want to be using either a medium or a heavy card stock. Always start with a medium. If it's glitter, you want to use the glitter card stock setting. If it's mirror, I normally do use the craft board setting. And if it's pearl, I either do a medium or a heavy cardstock, but it's always worth doing a test cut of either a star and a heart at about 1/2 inch each, because if it can cut those out, you're pretty much guaranteed that it will cut out your design. But always do a test cut if you're working with new materials. So we're going to do the watering can first. And you can see I've got all my pieces cut out. Now, what you want to try and do is stick as much of the elements on as possible. So we've got all our panel pieces here. So the first thing we're going to do is stick these two pieces together. So I'm going to add glue to the outer element first. And I'm just using the Nouveau Deluxe adhesive. And I'm just going to glue this panel together. And then I'm going to add glue to the back of this one and place it on one of my side pieces. When you're gluing, you want to go right out to the edges. And then you can always smooth out those edge pieces just to stop any glue from seeping out. Once those are glued, we can then come in and just fold over all of those fold lines. We're going to glue these two pieces together. And you want to make sure when you glue this piece on top of the other piece, that where those fold lines are, they meet up. We can then fold that over. We need to glue our two handle pieces together and then glue the elements onto our spout. And then we can, of course, fold all of those fold lines as well. So we've got the base of our watering can. And first things first, we're just going to come in and do all those folds. We're going to add some glue onto that first fold. And it doesn't matter what order you do this in. Just come in and smooth that glue out and make sure you go right to those edges, and we're then going to glue that first one in place. We're then going to do the second one. Make sure that you've got the folds going in the right direction. And we can then just continue to add them all onto each of these tabs. And then I normally put a book or something heavy on there just for sort of 5 minutes. We can now, once that's all glued together, start gluing our side tabs. So we're going to start gluing these in place. So I'm just going to add some glue to this tab here. And again, you want to smooth it out because you don't want that spilling everywhere. But you also want to make sure that the entire tab has got glue on it. And then we're just going to fold that up and glue those in place. And always make sure that when you put your sides together that you just run your finger down and make sure you haven't got any glue spilling out. It shouldn't because you've smoothed it down, but it's always worth doing because you don't want glue here on the seams. Get to this last one. It's a little bit tricky. So all we're going to do is push the seam down on this one. And we're going to add glue to both of them at the same time. So I'm going to do this side first. In fact, so I'm going to add glue to this side, but on this one, I'm going to push that right in. And I'm going to smooth this side down. And then just line that one up. And again, just hold it in place. So with this one on the inside, what I actually do is I hold it down and I use the inside to add my glue. Like so. And then again, I'm just going to smooth that from the inside. And then again, just bring those two sides together. So there is the base structure of our watering can. So next we're going to sort out our spout. We're just going to add a little bit of glue onto here. A little bit on the other side. And then just smooth that out. And we're going to glue that side like so. And then fold that over and glue that side. We're then going to get this piece and we're going to sort of curl it round and add glue to this tab and then glue it together. Once these two pieces are glued together, we're going to push these tabs at the end of our spout and then glue our watering can circle onto them. Our spout can then be glued to one of our panels. So next we're going to add our watering can grill, I guess it's called. And again, we're just going to fold over those score lines or perforated cut lines in my case. And that's just going to sit in there. And again, make sure that you smooth that out. We then want to add our handle. We can then go through and add our little lace bits all the way around. So next we're going to do the can, and I've already glued all my elements together except for this one. So again, I'm going to place this panel on the back, and then I'm going to add this little detail at the top there. So exactly the same as with our watering can, we're going to get our base and we're just going to fold these fold lines, and then we're going to fold all of these as well. So just like before, we're going to glue all of our side pieces to those tabs. Once they're all glued in place, I'm going to put something heavy on them just for 5 minutes to allow that to really stick. And so exactly like we did with our watering can, we're going to add glue to our side tabs. And just come in and smooth that out. And we're then going to glue our sides together. So that's now our base put together. We're then going to select our front section and glue this piece on. So our jug is definitely starting to take shape now. We've got this piece here, and just like with our watering can, we're going to glue that in place. And then we've got our handles. So we're going to glue our handles together, but you don't want to glue the top and the bottom tabs yet. So just glue the actual handle pieces together. And then if we open those tabs up, we can then glue that onto the back. So here we've got our jug and our watering can. They are so sweet. You can see that I've embellished them a little bit. I've used some dream drops and some glitter drops and also some crystal drops just to add a little something to them. I love seeing what everyone creates, because even though these will all be the same files, different cardstocks, different patterns, they all look so different. So make sure you tag Tonic on Instagram, because I love going through and seeing what everyone creates. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!